Hello, and welcome to my party.
Hi there, it's Black History Month.
So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Miley, and I have a degree in marketing. I've been working in marketing offices across the U.S. for the last couple of decades. I started my Facebook agency in 2017 and decided to focus on ads in 2018. So I'm specifically going to be talking about the Instagram Reels algorithm change from the perspective of a Facebook ads manager who constantly has to try to understand what Facebook is trying to say with their Facebook policy and also what they're not saying. Sounds healthy, Layla. Good job. So today what we're going to be talking about is specifically what was said by Facebook, and then the other advice that has been given around Reels, and the specific advice that I would give around Reels, my suggestions that I invite you to consider. So specifically what has been said is on the creator's account on Instagram. So if you scroll there, search there, whatever, and you go to the purple picture that says Reels, tips for getting discovered in the Reels tab. So I'm just going to say Facebook and Instagram interchangeably because they're the same entity. But basically, if you scroll through, after the first picture is the second picture, do post a Reel that. And they're saying, hey, here's all the things you want to do with Reels. And then they're saying, don't post a Reel that. And that has to do with what Facebook, Instagram doesn't want you to do. And that's the detail that I'm going into. So I will read through these quickly, but I think the main thing, the takeaway is what are they really saying that they're not saying. So don't post a Reel that is blurry, is visibly recycled from other apps, is uploaded with a border around it, has the majority of the image covered by text. So yes, this is what they're saying, but they mean more than that. And the problem is with Facebook is that they will enforce this. They will enforce what they mean and what they want. So as news media has picked up, Facebook does not want us to recycle Reel like TikToks, period. So they don't want us, they would very much like us not to do that, and they're going to enforce that. And also they would really like it if we could just create it in their app. These are the things that they're really saying. And I was hoping to channel my best Bronx voice or something, but it's kind of like they're like, yo, I really don't like that, and I'm gonna do something about it. So that's kind of what they're really saying, which has been publicized. But I think what we need to get down to is, what does that mean for us? Like, what are the consequences, and how do we apply this information? Because that's where it gets tricky. Hi there, Trisha. Glad you could come. Let us know. We're at this little party. Let us know if you're drinking water or what you're up to. Say hi. So we're going to move on from what was said to some other advice that was given, and then what I would suggest. So the thing is, people who don't interact with Facebook as intensely around policy might not be aware of Facebook's tendency and everything that's going on with Facebook right now. So basically, people are saying, download your TikTok video, clip off the logo, and then upload it into Instagram. So I deeply respect the Instagrammers that I see saying this. So I understand why they're saying that. However, I'm going to suggest why that might not be a good idea. So one, it might come in blurry. That's one thing. I've noticed that with my third-party apps. Sometimes they come in blurry. There's a whole music license issue. Like, I think way back on my personal profile, did this little video with the Beebs Yummy on my personal, and then I tried to upload it onto Instagram or Facebook, and it was like, you don't have rights to that music. So it wouldn't let me. And so when you see that happening, when Facebook is saying, don't do that, you want to honor that, because actually TikTok has made a deal with this artist and Facebook hasn't. And if you somehow find a way to sneak it on the platform, you might get penalized later. So that's one thing. And then just in general, with the fully producing it in TikTok is what I'm talking about. Fully producing it in TikTok with video and with logo, and then downloading it. I would not do that because I'm just telling you, like, Facebook is so smart. Like, Facebook knows. Facebook has miles and miles of computer, and I'm going to address this in a minute, but it's just, they know you're doing that. So, and they told you not to do that. So I will go through what might happen, but I'm going to say that's how I'm addressing that. So I'll get into details later. But so the other thing that people are saying is, produce it in third-party apps, and I'm going to say, that's cool. If you feel like you need to do that, go ahead and do that. But this is a little bit of a gray zone where, hi there, people joining me, a little bit of a gray zone where they would prefer you not to, but it could be okay. So I would just not do that if it's going to come in blurry, because now they're saying directly, don't be uploading blurry stuff. Just trying to say, don't do that. And then also just watch their response on that, because it's not clear how much they don't prefer that. So, but given my recent experiences with Facebook ad policy and what's going on with Facebook, I'm going to say, for any reason, like, don't second guess it. If you think something's going on, just, if you can, don't use that third-party app and try to create it in Facebook. Or I think you can create, create like just video on your phone and then upload it. That's fine. So the example that I want to give you, hi Malia, thanks for joining, and thanks the other people joining too, Chelsea and Trisha and everybody. The example I want to give you is around links, and I would be interested if anybody had this experience where basically, do you guys remember when we were all on Facebook and Facebook was like, I'm trying to remember if they actually even announced this, but we all knew that they couldn't, that they didn't like links, and they didn't like links to YouTube. And then I'm just going to go ahead and own this, okay? So then I was like, aha, I'm going to outsmart Facebook. Instead of putting the link in the post, I'm going to put it in comments. Yo, I was like, I'm just gonna, and I, like, because I was in the habit and I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to let go of the ability to use those news articles. So I was like, and you know what happened? All that does is degrade my wins with the algorithm, right? So it was like, I kept doing this for so long until I was finally like, this is stupid, it's not working. Like, if I'm posting an article, it's with the knowledge that it's not helping me with the algorithm. But, like, we should never think that we're gonna outsmart Facebook. Like, it's got miles and miles of artificial intelligence, miles and miles of computers. So if they're letting you get away with something, that's on purpose. I don't know. All I can say is let's not try to. We don't want to approach it from the perspective of trying to outsmart them. We want to approach it from the perspective of how can we play nicely, and what are they allowing us to do. So I think I'm going to stop now and see if anybody has, thank you, Chelsea. If anybody has any questions, you can put them in the comment. So I'm going to share an example so you understand why I'm so like, don't do it. Because I'm not like a teetotaler or whatever. Like, it has to do with what's going on with Facebook right now. And I think because ads managers, like my coach was saying, we're kind of on the forefront, seeing how Facebook is responding to things, because when you run an ad, it's like a heightened level of scrutiny. And so you're like, whoa, they said don't do this, but they really meant don't do that. And I got like my account, shut down. And I was following the rule. Following the rules, but what they really wanted was this. They said they wanted this, but they really wanted it. So, like, an example of that is I have a client under a special category. So if you're in certain categories regularly, like politics or housing or now Facebook is like watching you. Okay, so you really have to follow those rules when you do ads. So basically, there's this rule that you can't do an MLM. Like, you can't do multi-level marketing, and you can't promise quick sales wins. Okay, so I didn't say that in any of our ads, and before he hired me, he hadn't said that. But what it turned out was Facebook doesn't want to say cash or money. So here's the rule, and here's what they're enforcing. And he got shut down, and then we got shut down a couple times, and so I was just like, okay. I'm talking to my coaches about this because I am following this rule, and I'm following the spirit of the rule. But they really, like, their bot that's tracking you, they're trying to keep everything in order. They're like, bots is like, if they say cash or they say money, shut down the ad. And if they have more than one ad, then shut down the account. And like, it's so that's a factor where I'm like, this is very real. When they have to do something, sometimes you really follow the letter of the law. And it kind of depends on the exact situation, but I would say in general right now, Facebook is kind of like Facebook apocalypse. I don't know. And this is something I was just talking to my client about, but I was like, oh gosh. And when you see the news and Facebook's like, fighting with all these people, sometimes it's like that trickles down to the platform, right? Facebook's going crazy with this Apple thing. Apple is like, we're not going to let you do tracking on iPhones. Ha ha ha. It's fine. Like, it's more effective, but Facebook's like scrambling to figure out some other way to what it can do. So it's rearranging its platform. Australia government said something. He's there for Australia government. So now they shut down the news pages. They didn't shut them down. The news pages on Australia are all blank. So you can go to the page. There's nothing there because the Australian government was going to make people was going to pay for news that showed up in your newsfeed. So Facebook was like, well, then no. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's right. So I don't want to get too mired in it, but what I'm trying to say is that it's making all these changes in the platform. You have these big platform changes. It's just that everything gets a little more haywire, and you're just more likely to have an issue. It's kind of the bottom line. And I had an entertaining analogy, which I hope you find entertaining. But because I was trying to explain to my husband, and this is how I wanted to help people understand it, is it's like when you want to go fast, you got to get somewhere, you might want to speed, but you want to bend the rule a little bit, but you can't because it's according to where the cop is, right? So if the cop is on the side of the road and you see him, then you're going and you want to keep going, you want to go the speed limit. You want to follow the rule, exactly the rule. And then sometimes what happens is you don't see there's a cop, and then the cop is on your bumper. Like, the cop is trying to tell you without telling you, please stop it, please slow down, right? Like, I am watching you, and this is sometimes what happens with the algorithm, right? It's like, it gives you an error message, or it's like you don't get as much response. It's like Facebook is telling you, I don't like that, And then there's like the final example where, like, I was in the car with a relative and we were speeding a little bit and there was dark tint on the windows, and we basically got stopped by a cop, and he like totally read us the riot act. But the reason he read us the riot act was because there had been a death in that. There's, I think, a couple police officers shot, and there was a funeral the week before, and he was just like on edge. He was like, I thought that you could be a criminal with your dark windows. Like, your windows are not legal. And he just like totally, like, he was so mad. We didn't get a ticket somehow. I don't know how, but like, we went home and we were like, oh, not going anywhere unless it's not this car. Got to fix this car, and not going to speed. Ever going to speed? We were so like corrected. But the idea that I'm trying to get across is that right now, Facebook is like that state trooper. Like, it's in such a tizzy that anything you do, it's going to be like, look, stop that. or I'm going to take action. So this finally brings us down to what my advice and what I would invite you to do, and that's simply to, right now, because of all that Facebook's going through, all the platform changes, it's kind of in a tizzy. If you want to preserve the wins that you've gotten with the algorithm, then, you know, just do what Facebook says. You know, like, just go ahead and don't upload anything from TikTok. Hopefully you have some raw video that you can recreate in Reels. And then, if all possible, just create the whole thing in Reels. That's what I would say. Mainly because of the bots going crazy on Facebook right now, the platform changes. It's just more likely to do damage to your own account and sort of do those losses that you made with Reels, right? The whole reason half of us are doing Reels is not only because it's fun, because it like gives us wins with the algorithm. So this is like very focused on really businesses who are trying to get ahead and get more visibility. So I hope you found that helpful. I look forward to having more conversation in the comments. If you're interested in following more closely the news and the interpretation of the news from somebody who's an ads manager, please join my group, Facebook Genius Grown Here, and I will put a link to that in my bio. But for now, I will just see you in the comments. Thanks.